Hey, what's going on, viewers? And thanks for tuning in to Nia's Viewpoint. Today is the second episode of our relationship discussion. I'm so excited about how the outcome was of the first one. It was awesome. I got tons of feedback, tons of, experiences, and how people can say, yeah, you're right about this. I went through the same thing. Or, well, I didn't go through the exact same thing. It was a little different, but I know what you're talking about. At the end of the day, when it comes to relationships, I've learned that relationships pass every barrier of race, of religion, of gender, of age. Relationships pass those barriers because, example, me going to Michigan State and me going through certain things in my, young relationship time, and me telling one of these girls about like this happened, and I can't believe this, and this. And this girl was Asian, and she turned around and said, for real, well, this, and this happened to me too. So that just showed me that a lot of things that we go through is not just the solo thing. Other people have been through them. The difference between what those people are going through and what you're going through is the outcome. That's what you do have control of. You don't have to have the same outcome as the person who went through the same thing as you. You control your outcome. I consider a relationship a chemistry project. Whatever you put into it, you can put good things inside of it that make it a good outcome. You can put kryptonite inside of your chemistry project and make it terrible, which destroys your relationship. So when it comes to a relationship, it's your chemistry project. You all do what you want to do it. When you're doing your chemistry project, you don't allow somebody from another classroom to come dibble and dabble in your stuff and put whatever they want to put in it. So why do we allow people to get into our relationships at home and wonder why we're not with that person anymore, or wonder why it's so much havoc? Because we're not taking control of our relationships ourselves. It's something to think about. Moving right along, I told you guys that I was going to do the relationship episode today about shacking, and I am. It's not just going to be about shacking though. We're going to talk about a whole genre of judgmental impressions society has on us. That's what it's going to be, because when you talk about shacking, everyone knows that it's a lot of judgment in that. When you talk about being pregnant out of wedlock, it's a lot of judgment on that. When you talk about just the age difference in a relationship, it's a lot of judgment on that. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're still going to be in relationships, but we're going to talk about the judgment that is involved with the relationships, and how that judgment, you can either roll with what they're saying or find out your own way. It's up to you. One more thing, you guys check out the hair. It's a little different than last time. It's like a little curly afro. I'm loving it. It's like I'm not even hot when I got it on. It's easy to roll up, take down. I love it. So I'll tell you guys how to do this in case anybody wants to try it, because it's a natural thing. You don't got to go out and buy a whole lot of stuff. Okay, now that we had that sidebar, moving back into the discussion at hand. The first thing I want to start off with is, anyone who knows me, they know that I've been going to church all my life. So I'm not about to have Bible study at all. You guys can look up this on yourself. But when I looked in the little Bible today, I noticed that Mary and Joseph, who are people that a lot of you all know, during the time that Mary was conceived, when she became pregnant, and also when Jesus was born, Mary and Joseph were not married. While Mary and Joseph were living together, they were betrothed. And if you don't know what that means, betrothed is a word that came from the Anglo-Saxon word of truth, which means truth, which meaning giving a pledge of truth. And that all comes together meaning being engaged, giving a pledge that you're going to marry someone. So while they were living together, or shacking, how you guys said, it was them being engaged. They weren't married. So this is going to bring me into that judgmental, that a lot of people, that judgmental opinion that a lot of people have when it comes to people living together. First off, I want to say, living together, I believe that living with your significant other is not a sin. I don't think that living with the significant other is a sin. This is my beliefs. I believe that some of the things that go down when you live with that person is a sin. So, I mean, let's not just dip and dab around it like fornication. Yeah, I said it, the word fornication. That comes when you decide to have sex without being married. You don't have to fornicate just because you live with somebody. Living with the person is not a sin. The things that you do while you're living with that person is the sin, which are probably things that you were doing before you were living with that person, when you were already backsliding. So let's get that under control. I'm tired of people putting a stereotype on shacking. Shacking is not a sin in my eyes. I've never seen a place where it says shacking is a sin. To have sex without being married is a sin, but not the shacking part. So let's just get that clear. And when we get into that, I want to talk about the betrothed part, about Mary and Joseph. A lot of people, this is why I say relationships is really about you and that significant other. You guys have to make your own rules. You guys have to make your own bylaws of your relationship. Because if you listen to what everybody else is telling you, it's usually going to go wrong. In a relationship, if you decide that you want to go to that next level and decide that you want to live with that person, you have to understand, well, what works and what doesn't work. I am a witness to say living with someone does take your relationship to another level, and it is more responsibility that you have. You have to be ready to know if you're ready to take on that responsibility or not. I got some notes down today, guys, because I remember some people telling me that I should take notes. So, the judgment thing. When like I told you, this is my viewpoint, so I have no problem, being truthful and honest with you all. When I decided to move from Detroit to Texas, I got a lot of criticism. I mean, people pulled me from some of everywhere. They pulled me to the left, to the right, pulled me in the back to talk. People called me who I hadn't spoke to in years. People just all of a sudden are so interested in what Nia is doing and where Nia is going with her life. I'm talking about I never expected Nia to grow up and live with a man. Like, what is she doing? And you really shouldn't live with him. What you should do is let him go down there first and get everything settled, and then he can come back up and get you. Now, and because I am who I am, and a lot of these people who said this stuff were people dear to me. If anybody knows me, when it comes to relationship, I kind of go with the flow. I kind of do what I want. Because a lot of those people who were telling me this stuff, no offense, had been divorced more than once, was currently getting divorced, was not in a relationship, or just hadn't been in a relationship for a long time and seemed to have that bitter characteristic about themselves. And when I noticed this, it was, well, they always throw that, well, I just want you to be better than what I am. That's why I'm giving you this advice. And I definitely understand that, but are you giving me this advice to just give me criticism, or are you really looking out for my best interest? When I decided to make this journey down here, it wasn't just a limb, like, okay, I'm just going to leave and I'm just going to go with the flow. It's something that I thought about. Not only did I think about, I prayed about. I'm the type of person that I am not by any means getting married to anybody from a situational standpoint. You won't see Nia doing it. Oh, well, if you're going to live with him, you might as well get married. What? What kind of stuff is that to say to somebody? Luckily, I have a mind of my own, and I have my own relationship with God. Because if it was some people who didn't have a mind of their own, listening to some of the stuff that people have said, if you're going to live with him, you might as well marry him. Oh, so is that the basis of marriage now? You live with somebody, so you should marry him? What happened to the love? What happened to the like? What happened to the support? What happened to the partnership? None of that comes just because you live with somebody, you marry him. No, that's not how Nia does it. This is how Nia does it. I have to be in love with you. And not only in love with you, I have to be in like with you. I have to like your characteristics. I have to know that you are somebody who has my back. And I need you to know that I have your back. It has to be a trust in the foundation for me to even consider marrying somebody. I am not marrying to get divorced. I want you all to understand that. And I wish a lot of young women would be like that. Do not get married to get divorced. You don't have to marry somebody just because a situation, oh, you broke, this person got money, I gotta marry him. No, you don't. Oh, we living together, I gotta marry him. No, you don't. And one of the biggest things that irks me is if somebody gets pregnant, you don't have to worry about that for me because that's not happening until marriage. But anyways, if someone gets pregnant, it's that whole discussion of, oh, you're pregnant, so you might as well marry him. You need to do the right thing and marry him. How, if you get pregnant because of your recklessness, your carelessness, you messing up, making a mistake, because people do make mistakes. It just so happened that some people's consequences last 18 years, and some people last 18 minutes. So people do mess up. But just because you make that mistake, do not feel that you have to be stuck in a marriage with this person. Do you love this person? Do you know that if you marry this person, they're going to be there for you and your child forever? If you don't know that and you cannot stand on that, what is the purpose of wasting your life in a marriage when God can send you somebody else who can take care of you and your child, and you guys can have a great partnership? So, I'm not saying this to down everybody who says certain things to me or anything like that, because I definitely took into consideration what you said. But I have to do things my way, and I want you all to know that it's definitely good to take constructive criticism from people, but you have to take your relationship by your hands. It has to be you and that person. When you guys go through it, it has to be you and that person. It is, and I heard this so many times, oh, you don't let people in your business. That's true, because if anybody knows me, I'm a venter. So if something's going wrong, I'm calling one of my friends and I'm just going, and this, I'm going. Because that's what I do. I vent. But because my friends are biased, although I love all of you guys, because my friends are biased and they're my friends and not necessarily my significant other's friends, they're going to tell me whatever they feel is to protect me. Well, Nia, you're my best friend, so you need to just leave this situation alone, just go this way and whatever. They're telling me that because they love me and they care. They're not really thinking from the relationship standpoint. No relationship is perfect. You're going to have situations that you go through. It just happens in relationships. If you don't go through something, how can you depend on each other or trust people? That's why I like the whole sorority thing. I know I just went off track, but the whole sorority thing and people being paper and they just sign a paper and now I'm in a sorority. How can you really call you guys as sisters or brothers if you didn't go through anything together? I need to be able to call you my husband or whatever the case is because we went through something together. I saw how you reacted to it. You saw how I reacted to it, and we made it out together. That is a situational basis that I'll get married. Living together is not a situation where I get married. Someone getting pregnant should not be a situation why you just get married. You have to decode certain things that happen in your life. Sit back, think about why these things happen, and think what you can do to make the situation better, people. I do know that this is probably going to be one of my most confrontational episodes, but it's not a problem because I feel like it's my view and it's always on point, period. I gotta say how I feel. That's the purpose of me doing this, allowing you guys to know how I feel and see who agrees, see who doesn't, see what you guys feel about what I feel. At the end of the day, it's going to be you and that person in a relationship. Your mom's not going to be in a relationship even if you want her to. Your father's not going to be there. Your best friends, as much as they love you and want to see the best happen for you, that's not who's in that relationship. It has to be you and that person to make it. So, shacking? Is shacking really a sin, people? Or is it the things that you do while you're shacking? Because someone's pregnant, do they have to get married? Is that in the Bible? You have to get married because this person is pregnant? Or is it just another judgment that people want to put on you because they want to tell you how to live your life? Before you decide to give people this constructive criticism or your opinions, let's sit back and look at our lives. Let's see what we're doing wrong. Let's see what we can correct. And let's make sure that the information that we give these people will not hinder them but help them. Allow them to know that it's just an opinion. This is not something that you better do this and you better do that. Because last time I thought only God can judge us. And he was the only one who was perfect. And then if you really want to get something in through, because I'm just now becoming a young adult. I'm an adult now, woohoo. But if you really want to get something through to our teens, to our youth who are in these young premature relationships and who are doing some of these things that are in these adult relationships, tell them the truth, people. Don't tell them that, oh, well, you need to do this because this, and this. No, sit down and share experiences. That's one thing that I love about my mother and my auntie and my grandmother. They always kept it real with me. They always gave me experiences of how this happened and what road I went down and how I got here. And then when I switched it up and did the right thing, this is the road I went down and this is how I got here. Tell the truth. If you continue to leave stuff in the dark, it will continue to allow that young person of yours to stray away and to test things that you really don't want them to test. It's definitely a true thing. If you keep someone just contained for too long and you're so strict, when they get to college and when they get that freedom, they're going to act wild. I've seen it. So this is the end of the show. Hopefully you guys can definitely give me some feedback. I definitely appreciate it. You guys listening to me. And remember, at the end of the day, it's my view. And it's always on point. Thanks.